Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Put on your headphones, Arlissa, so everybody can hear you. There we go. Good morning. Sorry if that's super noisy. Good morning, everybody. Ready for another week in the market. Let me get Instagram running so that way the people over there will know that we're live and live in color. We're live and live in color. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We didn't do our Sunday live at 5 because I was traveling yesterday at 5. So I couldn't do the live at 5. I'm not going to leave my picture up for this broadcast too long because it's so dark in here. This is my office. I need to bring my ring light back. I took my ring light home at the beginning of the summer and I need to bring it back in here if I'm going to have live calls. Usually I'm home, so I don't need this. But today I ended up in here because I had to take Mr. P to get his car. Hey, Asleen. So now I'm here in my office this morning going live. And y'all can't see my setup, but I got me some monitors here, even though I haven't set them up properly because it's just showing the same thing that's here. I need it to be like an extra setup monitor. Y'all know how it goes. You don't want to necessarily duplicate the screen, but you want to have like an extra screen one, screen two. And at this point, I have one screen. But I didn't have time to do that this morning. I wanted to make sure once I got into my chair that I had all the stuff I needed to make sure we were ready for this morning's call, especially since we didn't do one yesterday. Good morning, Abra. So yeah, that's what we got going today. So I don't know if I'll keep myself on the screen, but let's go and rock on. Let's look at earnings first. We're going to look at this morning. We're starting up quarter three, I guess this is earnings season. Quarter three earnings season is starting this week. It starts with the banks. The banks are over here at the end. So let me see who these people are. So we've got Greenbrier this morning before the market opens. We've got Berna and Helen of Troy tomorrow morning before the market opens. SGH, Cura, Saratoga tomorrow after market close. Thera, and I'm not sure who this is. Manu, maybe manuscript is on Wednesday before market opens. Then we got WD40, PriceSmart, AZZ, E2 Open, and Bassett. Wednesday after market closes, and Thursday morning we got Pepsi, Delta, Conagra, Bank 7, Methode Electronics, NTI or NTIC. That's Thursday morning, and then after the close we've got Vista. Friday morning, though, the banks start kicking in. JP Morgan Chase leads us off. Wells Fargo, Citibank, BNY, Fastenal, and Ericsson. The three banks, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, those are going to be Friday. So those do show up on our list a lot for our credit spreads list. So keep in mind as you're trading coming up this Friday, if you're going with Friday expiration, if you're going to look at Wells Fargo, Citi, or JP Morgan, that you know that those are going to expire on Friday. Good morning, Miss Deborah. Hey, Saida. Oh my goodness. Hey, good morning. And hey, Tanya. I was thinking about you, Saida, the other day. Was thinking that I hadn't seen your face and heard your voice in a while. Not your fault, mine, but you crossed my mind. I heard that Jamie did his thing. He did the doggone thing on Saturday. Everybody was giving rave reviews for the coaching. It wasn't intended to be a coaching call. It was more like a stand-in for me because I was traveling. But shoot, sounds like Jamie hit it out the park so much so that this week I'm not going to do another coaching call. Seems like Jamie coached y'all well. Yay. Everybody give Jamie a big thank you. I hear it was really good. And then he's going to do cash flow. This coming Saturday will be cash flow. So anybody can play cash flow. And Jamie, if you want to put a link in the comments for cash flow so people can come and join, we're going to do cash flow 101, which is basically a gamified way of working and playing financial things. So that's going to all be this coming Saturday at 11 o'clock. And everybody's welcome. You don't have to be a member to be a part of that. So Jamie says, yes, SLF for the financial sector ETF. There is the ETF, the financial sector has kind of been moving and running a little bit. So we'll see if there's some opportunities. But you want to watch that earnings is Friday for sure. Okay. Don't forget Miss Deborah, because Deborah usually plays Cash Flow 101 with us too. If you're free Saturday, come and join us for Cash Flow 101, Miss Deborah. Yeah, everybody, anybody can come join us for Cash Flow 101. Adam had to say this morning, last Tuesday, longs triggered at 54.51, and this trade is now going on 1 week in SPX. 55.69 was my target on Friday. We hit it exactly. We've been basing here since then. Just keep trailing it until we dip. Yeah, Cash Flow 101. Definitely. It's going to be this weekend. Y'all will have a good time, Jamie. And I'll be there. I love playing Cash Flow. It's always a good time. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Nori. How you doing this morning? Saeed, I like that you have Saida the writer because you are definitely a writer. A great one, by the way. Plan 55.56 is weak now through 55.69 is the chop zone. So 55.56 to 55.69 is the chop area. It basically sets up 55.77, 55.82, and 55.93 plus to get to there. If 55.56 fails, then we finally dip to 55.46 and 55.33. Okay. The gap between ES and SPX actually is about 55 is what I'm using. 57 is close enough. That's quite accurate, but that's what I'm going to, that's what we're using is 55. So if you're trading XSP, you've got 560 as on the call side and 553 on the put side. Okay. Hey, I want to hear, tell me in the comments, how are you all using the Peakbot alerts? Are you all using the Peakbot alerts and how are you finding them? What are your thoughts? If you've got questions, whatever they are, go ahead and put that into the comments, please, so I can see what's going on with that. What I did last week is I put the alerts, the Peakbot alerts into our membership so people could see what was there we go. So people could see what actually comes with the alerts. You get the alerts for there's 10 of the top credit spreads, and they tell you whether to do put credit spreads or call credit spreads or based on direction. And they even suggest the strike. I usually use the sell leg strike only. I don't spread it as wide as they do. Good morning, Lorenzo. And then they also give you, this is the one, let me take myself off the screen so you can see. But this is one, NVIDIA's on there again this morning. I looked, this watch list updates every 5 minutes. So if you're not available to get it at 12, you can see this watch list whenever you're ready to enter or look at some trades. It runs all day. This watch list updates every 5 minutes at the alerts.usepeakbot.com. And again, you see they on the call side or the put side, they tell you which one you can do on the first 10. And this list kind of stays the same throughout the day. Things may move to the top or the bottom, but the list for the most part stays the same. And then you also get iron condor ideas for all of these indices. So IWM SPY, Triple Q, XSP, SPX, NDX, all those show up, iron condors. And the iron condor, the way I'm using it is I am taking the iron condor list. I am entering the iron condor on several of these, depending on which ones I like at the time or what my availability is. And then I'm setting it for me. I'm trying to just take 30 to 50% as far as profits. So in iron condor, we know that last week now there was a lot of one-way movement, right? Almost all week things were trending. So um, a few of my days got breached on one side or the other, but I did find that, of course, you can close these whenever you want. Nobody has to sit idly by till 4:15 hoping for the best. You can close these when you want. These are just like if you were entering for yourself. The good thing with these, though, is a strike is being suggested for you. So you don't have to worry at the time that you're entering, are you picking a good strike? The algorithm is picking a strike and telling you this one's a good one. If you want to pick another one, of course you can, right? But that's what's going on with these. And you can use these every day. These are they're zero DTE stocks, but what you're doing, what you do for this list you're looking at, okay, I want to make sure you hear me. I want to make sure I'm clear. This list, you're entering one day with the next day's expiration. These are not zero DTE trades. These are not zero DTE trades. They're suggesting strikes for the following day. Now, can you use them if you want to for zero DTE? Totally up to you. But that's not what the algorithm is not figuring it for today. It's figuring it for tomorrow. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you want to hook up with the alerts are $5 a week, which I think is tremendous. Last week, my IWM was the one that was the shining star for you to see. Last week, IWM was a shining star because it stayed steady right between these numbers all week. And I want to say I made $107. I think I put in I don't think I put up my results here in this graphic, but last week IWM was the one that came through like the shining star. Yes, it did. Let me see if I can find the graphic and see if I can put it on the screen. But that's what last week did. I want to bring this week's graphic up as well. But let's see. Last week we had a few things that popped up. We had 86% win rate yet again. We had an 86% win rate. Are you going to open or not? Yes, 86% win rate was last week. Again, 18 out of 21. Let me see if I can get to share the screen. There we go. Present, 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 present. Entire screen allow. Okay. There we are. I think we're sharing. Come on, share the screen. It's coming up. There we go. This was last week's list of trades, and 18 of the 21 of these trades were completely profitable, 100% profitable of these trades. We had one that you see Kroger here was partially breached. It ended at like 51.80 is where it closed at 51 and some change. And the FCX, the call credit spread side of that, and the call credit spread side of net were both fully breached because the price went up, up and away. Okay, so that's what happened last week. 86% win rate again. Let me go find that's not what I want. I wanted the one where our results. Nope, that ain't it either. So let me find what I do want because that's not it. Is this the one? Yep. NVIDIA and IWM. NVIDIA came off of the peak bots list. And last week, y'all know that we're trying to do our just one July doing, I'm not say trying because I'm successful. So NVIDIA last week I made $91 using $400 of collateral because I got in the area, the strikes I picked had 50-cent spreads, but they were paying like $11 or $12 for a 50-cent spread. So I did multiple contracts. And then IWM last week I used $100 collateral for the week and I rinsed and repeated all week long and made a total of $107. So with just these two, this is the trend spread. This is the alerts I'm talking about, right? Just using the alerts for these two, 39% profit in just those 4 days, right? $198 in profits using $500 of collateral. We'll take that, huh? What y'all think? What y'all think? Well, I'm not saying that IWM is always going to be the shining star, but it has been up to this point. It has been the shining star, right? It's been doing its thing. I did want to show you also. I think this is the other one. T triple Q. I have. There it is. I used automated trading with Peakbot, and with my automated trading, T triple Q and Exxon were the ones that Peakbot did automated, basically hands-free for me. It enters and exits on its own. But I generally tend to exit them on my own because I'm watching enough to know that I can close it. But T triple Q, I kept $33. I actually entered and collected 43, and then I closed it for $10 on Thursday, I think. No, not Thursday because Thursday market was closed. Was it Wednesday or Friday? In one of those days, I might have been Wednesday. I closed it on Wednesday. I used $300 of collateral and I collected $33, kept $33. And then it did Exxon. Exxon collected $30, might have been 25, and I closed it and kept 20, used $200 of collateral. It was a two spread. So this is 10.6% profit in those 4 days, $53 I made using the $500 of collateral, greater than 10%, which is what, we continue to hit the base hits. It continues to grow. That's what we want to keep doing. Those two are peak bot things. Okay, those are Peakbot things. Nori says Peakbot has not yet updated, probably closer to 9:30. Yes, it updates every 5 minutes, I believe. And if you look at the watch list, it'll tell you what time it last updated, but I'm sure that it updates when the market opens. Nori says I'm all over the XXPS or XXP and have tested each using paper money and got premiums tomorrow. Okay, what happens when your iron condor is partially breached? When your iron condor is partially breached, what I do is I use you should use your usual stop loss plan. Use your usual stop loss plan. So if your plan or your trading plan says, I will close a trade when it reaches three times my premiums, so if you take in 20, if it gets up to 60, I'm closing it. Whatever your stop loss plan is, you should still exercise that when you're using these iron condors, right? So you can let them continue to expiration. Sometimes SPX and XSP will turn back, but I want you to follow your trading plan. Now, if you don't have a plan to stop loss, you need to make sure that you clarify that as soon as possible. Because it's hard to do stop losses on vertical spreads. I always say that. But I think one area that could maybe I found that has helped me if I do like a 2x or a 3x, which basically whatever I take in, I multiply by 2 or I multiply by 3. If it gets to that, then I close it. That gives me peace of mind that I don't look back later and be upset with myself that I didn't close it earlier. Right. And if I close it and it goes to where we want it to go and it ends up and like it would have been a good trade, then I'm okay with that because I feel like I followed the plan. That's the thing. We need to have a plan. So I'm going to put 3x stop loss is okay. Let's give an example. 3x stop loss example. Oh, come on. I'm trying to type in do 3x stop loss if you receive $20 in premiums, then 3 times that is $60. So you close I'm going to say you buy to close because at this point you buy to close the trade at 60. If it gets to $60 or gets to be worth $60, then you buy to close it there. That's one way to do it. You can do a 2x, you can do a 3x. Of course, you can do more. That's completely up to you. But now with those iron condors pull in good money. So that SPX iron condors can take in 2 or 250, right? Between 225 and 250, especially if you're doing it around noon, right? If you're doing it around noon, y'all hear me? These iron condors, IWM, triple Q, XSP, those are almost all taking in about 50% of the spread. Let me lean in a little bit further. The iron condor alerts that are coming through on Peakbot are pulling in about 50% of the spread. So IWM, if it's a one spread, you're taking in almost $50 or over $50 in premiums. So you're at a one for one risk to reward. Then what you do is the next day I put in a buy to close order for $5 on each side. I may put in $10 for the whole iron condor. So that means if I take in 50 and I pay 10 to get out, then I'm keeping 40 of those dollars. When I did SPX last week, I closed it. If I generated 100 or whatever, I tried to close it there. Now, again, that happened one day. The other days, it trended all the way through. So I had to close for a loss on those. But you just enter again, pull in another 50% on the next day. And then the law of large averages. So it's a law. The law of large numbers says if you're doing something at a 50-50, the first several times you do it, it may not, you may not get to 50-50, right? You add up, it might be two times in a row you lose. Or if you're talking about 30-70, let's do something more realistic, 30-70. That the in a 30% probability, the rule is that 30% of the time, 70% of the time you should be successful, 30% of the time you won't be. If you keep going though, maybe the first few times you try it, the odds aren't the same because you gotta, flipping a coin, you can use that as your guideline. The more coins you flip, the closer you get to 70-30. First few flips, you might be more like 80-20, but you gotta keep flipping the coin in order to get to 70-30. So the strikes that are coming from Peakbot on each side is based on the 30 delta, but you're doing both sides, which, it's gonna increase that. And you are planning to close early, which also increases your odds. But if you're taking in 50% of the spread, so on a 5 spread, you're taking in $250 in premiums. If you close that and you buy back for $100, or you buy back for 150, you've kept $100. Those are good returns. Those are good returns. Morning, Ward. Okay. If you got questions about that, and if you're not comfortable with the SPX, which a lot of people are not, that's a big, that 5 spread is big. Work with XSP, work with IWM, work with Triple Q or SPY. Do something like that. Okay. Do the ones that are only a 1 spread and pull in about $50. Then do it that way. Okay. I hope I made that clear. I mentioned that we're doing just one July. Let me go back to my screen. We're doing just one July. We're attempting to do just one July, which means we're taking one trade per day, or we're trading one stock per day. Has anybody had success here? I am doing one primary trade a day, but I also feel like I'm testing out the alerts on the indices so my community will have good data to use. So I'm also doing I'm also doing that. I've used IWM, XSP, and SPX as my trial. And I don't know if I'll keep with XSP and SPX because that's literally the same thing. One's just bigger than the other. I may go with just one of those, one of the two, but that SPX pull in 250 is enticing. Okay, is enticing. Okay. Lorenzo said, I've been doing one trade a day. Yay. Now I've been doing one credit spread trade off of the alerts list per day. Like I did Nvidia one day, I did Taiwan Semiconductors a day. I think I did an Uber on a day, something like that. Lorenzo, I'm very proud of you. Yay. I like that the alerts, the credit spread alerts, I like those are coming through. This is the page I'm talking about. I like this page because I'll look at maybe one, two. I see which ones I like the most and say, EMPH seems to stay at the top a lot. It seems to stay at the top a lot. So I went down, looked at Nvidia. Watched banking is having earnings this week. So keep that in mind as you're trading this week. Credit spreads, if you're not sure how to do credit spreads, then this is a training that is at my website, educatortotrader.com. You can really learn how to do credit spreads. It talks about entering, exiting, identifying your strikes, and it also includes what to do when your spread is being challenged. So how do you exit? That whole 3X is talked about there, the stop losses, buying, you can also buy more options to offset. All that is included in this training for credit spreads. Okay. Jamie says he's focusing on RUT. I don't think RUT is on that list though, but I need to see about why I wonder if RUT doesn't provide. Let's send somebody in our telegram, do a ad to Dylan and ask him about adding RUT to that list, adding RUT to the indices alerts list. Okay. If you need a free charting checklist, you can go to chartyourway to 100k.com and get your free charting checklist. Somebody told me they had put their information in, but they hadn't gotten the link for the checklist. If you have done this and you have not gotten the checklist, then please let me know so I can see there may be something wrong in the flow, and I need to make sure that that's fixed. Saida says I'm also doing one spread or one iron condor per day. Around noon, I'm looking around noon. That's when I asked the guys. Ben is the one of the co-founders of Peakbot, and so is Dylan. When I asked them what was the best time to look at, they both said that around noon. Around noon, of course, if you can do it right at noon. Good thing is, don't take a whole lot of time because you're given the information you need. You really just have to enter and write it down. But around noon is when you get good setup and good premiums. Okay, around noon. Options 411 for those people who are new to options 411 options, but really want to understand how do you Do options, the options 411. April, you didn't get the checklist when you did the chart your way to 100K? If not, I need to check. I need to check that. Jamie said IWM and RUT are basically the same, just like SPY and SPX. Okay, okay, okay. Then that's good. Okay, so are you doing IWM or are you literally just doing RUT? Just doing RUT. Okay, let's go. I didn't look, that didn't take us to our screen. Okay. Remove so I can take us to where I want us to go without clicking us through. Do, 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 do. Okay, this is where I want to go. Just RUT. Okay. Here is our list for the week. All right. These trades came off of the lower risk area of the watch list. I got you, Abra. Came off of the lower risk area of the Peakbot watch list. I take the list from them. I determine the strikes. I didn't get the strikes from their watch list. I use our strikes. I use my own strikes. Okay. So you got put credit spreads, Datadog, Disney, Google, MGM, Oracle, Pinterest, and TJ Maxx. Call credit spreads. We've got Comcast, Tyson Foods, I believe this is Win, and then on the Iron Condor, Exxon is on the Iron Condor list. Y'all look at this list and tell me which ones we want to look at. Which ones do we want to look at today? Or do we want to look at and chart? I'd like to do one from each. I'd like to do one from each of these lists. We'll do Exxon for sure because it's the Iron Condor. Maybe one or two from the put credit spread area, and been a while since we looked at Tyson Foods. I see Exxon. I'm going to do Tyson, thinking about that one. And Google. Okay. Is Tanya on here today? Tanya, you on here, ain't you? EMPH is not on this list, but it is on the alerts list. Tyson is a call credit spread. Any others? Are we good? Datadog took some of my money a few weeks ago because it got me on. Yeah, I did Datadog, I think, as an Iron Condor, and it got me on one side. Are we good with what we have listed already? Tanya, what you trading this week? Okay, let's go to, you know what I didn't do yet? I done all this and hadn't even gone to the VIX. The VIX is at 12.61. It's up a point. The VIX is up 1 point this morning, 1.0%, not 1.1% this morning. Powell to testify as key inflation data could cement a rate cut. Okay. Stock future steady as S&P 500. NASDAQ aim for more records. France dodges a far-right takeover. Boeing to plead guilty to fraud. Oh my goodness. Ay, ay, ay. Boeing is going to plead guilty to fraud. What is we doing? In the U.S. probe of the fatal 737 MAX crashes. I don't like that. I don't like that they were fraudulent and they going to plead guilty. Oh my goodness. The Fed likely to have short and shallow rate cutting cycle. Oh my goodness. I'm still not over Boeing pleading guilty. I'm stumped. I used to work for Boeing, by the way. Y'all, some of you who know me know that. I used to work for the space shuttle department, space shuttle division, or space shuttle portion of Boeing at Kennedy Space Center. I am a space shuttle engineer. I used to work for Boeing. La la la. I still have friends there. So let's see what's here for bids. Okay, so pre-market. Let me see if I can refresh this. The calendar for today, for this morning, we got consumer credit month over month at 3 o'clock today. That's what the calendar says. I jumped way around this. Tuesday, tomorrow, we've got NFIB small business I think this is a banking thing. Small Business Index. FOMC member Barr is going to speak at 9:15 tomorrow. Powell testifies tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Prepared. Be prepared for this to cause volatility tomorrow. Okay. Federal Chair Powell testifies. Treasury Secretary Yellen is going to speak. That happens at 10 o'clock. And FOMC member Bowman will speak at 1:30. This is all tomorrow. That's all tomorrow, Tuesday. On Wednesday, Powell is testifying again. Volatility incoming, incoming. Final wholesale inventories month over month. 10:30 crude oil inventories. 10-year bond auction always causes some fluctuations in the market. Okay, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Bowman and Goolsbee from the FOMC are going to speak on Wednesday at 2:30. And then on Thursday, we've got core CPI data. This is inflation data coming on Thursday. FOMC members, the Musalim, that's a new name. FOMC member Musalim is going to speak. 30-year bond auction. This is all Thursday. And Friday, we got PPI. Do y'all see all these real red folders? These are red folders, like for real, though. The only thing that's not red is today. Consumer credit is today. Every other day, Powell speaking Tuesday, Powell speaking Wednesday, 10-year bond auction on Wednesday, CPI on Thursday, PPI on Friday. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. And then next week, I believe is how it works is CPI and PPI come out one week, and the next week Powell gives the rate cut things, whether or not they cutting rates or not. I think that happens the following week. So next week's going to have its, and we're starting up earnings season. So in case you didn't think we was having fun, that's what's going on. Am I sharing my screen? I don't know if I'm even sharing. Let me see. Nope, I'm not even sharing. Y'all letting me just go about your screen, please. Thank you. I was like, I don't see the thing that says stop sharing, which means I wasn't sharing. So thank you. I'll go back and put that back on the screen. Here we go. Now we're here. This is the week's data. This is forexfactory.com/calendar. All the stuff. I said Monday, we don't have no red folders. Tuesday, we've got Powell. Wednesday, we've got Powell and the 10-year bonds. Thursday, we've got CPI. And Friday, we've got PPI. Okay, that's what's going on here. Let me, if I go into the screen here, I'm going to be able to see when you all make comments. How about we do that? How about we put it up where I can actually see the comments? Save yourselves. Okay, gotcha. All righty. Ha ha ha. Y'all can see my screen now. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Pre-market, the Dow is up 0.19%. S&P futures, Dow futures. S&P futures up 0.08%. NASDAQ futures up 0.05%. Oil and 10-year bonds are both red. If we want to look at Europe, Europe is all green over there. Europe markets rise. French stocks are up after left-wing surprise election win. Asia markets are all red. So Europe was all green. Asia's all red. Asia markets are mostly slip as Japan real wages fall for 26 straight months. China stocks drop and of course they say something else, but the whole point is it's all red. Have y'all been watching the Olympic or not watching the Olympics are coming up, but have y'all been watching the Wimbledon? That's what I wanted to ask you. Have y'all been watching Wimbledon? I believe Coco is still playing and playing well. Yay. Come on, Coco Golf. Represent. Is anybody know if Naomi is still in Wimbledon? Um is Wimbledon is Naomi? Is it Naomi? Yes, her name is Naomi. Is she still playing in Wimbledon? Okay, so we've got that going. We looked at Powell and the rate cuts. We looked at the VIX. Here we go. Now we can look at some charts. Want to look at some charts? Okay, let me see if I can get us. Come on, work with me. There we go. I need this to move over. Move over, bacon. Now there's something meatier. Do they still sell Sizzling? I don't think Sizzling you on here. Do they still sell that? I don't know if they do. Is this the one I want? Yep. I'll turn that one off. Okay. Here we go. I've got on my list Exxon. Let's go to the daily chart. Okay, let me grab my mouse so I can act like I got something going. Let's see, Exxon. The mouse doesn't want to do right. It's working hard, seems like. Why is it jumping around? There you go. Work with me. Okay, this is Exxon on the daily chart. I'm going to stick with this because the mouse is taking a while to catch up. It's working off a USB and other things are too. So it's doing its thing. Full time frame continuity to the downside on Exxon. If we're looking at support and resistance, this is 2, 4, 6, 8 days. We've been in this zone. Let me see. I'm going to move this down here. I've got Exxon as 116 on the call credit spread side. And I've got it with 111 on the put credit spread side. 110, 111. I did not open up Thinkorswim. Of course, the premiums that we see won't be as accurate right now because the market is closed, but we can look and see what is our potential. What's the potential? Exxon. It does seem to be coming down though, so I want you to be. There's a long wick for Friday, so you do want to be mindful of and enter this iron condor one side or the other. Actually, 110, 111 is a little higher than. Let me see, what is it doing in the pre-market? It's at 111 in the pre-market. I probably would go with 111, right? It shows on the option chain that 111 is 67% probability out of the money, and that won't be comfortable for anybody. 109, 110. I'm going to put it here. 109, 110. You want to enter these as they approach support and resistance. As it approaches support or resistance, then you want to enter. But currently, pre-market, it's down here, and it is down here at 111.96. 109, 110 puts you below this gap. That would be useful as well. The bottom of this gap is 110.79. So if you get below this gap, the bottom of the gap should provide some support, and you got something that'll help you. It'll go back the other way, and that gives you that's going to give you some support to go the other direction, but you want to enter at support and resistance. I don't want to give numbers because I feel like it's moved as much as it has in the pre-market, then the numbers we see on the option chain are not going to be as accurate. But I believe the call credit spread 116, 117 may not have much premium up there because price has fallen a little bit. You might need to come in a little bit closer if you want to do the iron condor, but I wouldn't enter the call credit spread side until price started going back up in that direction anyway. Remember, we put on our alerts, and once we put on the alerts let us know when it's coming to support or resistance. That way you can look to enter your trades in a timely manner and take in as much premium as possible. Okay, that's what we want to do with that. Let's go look at Google. Google is set on the put credit spread side because y'all see how it's been moving, but it is in a supply area. So there could be some pullback. Pre-market, it's at 190.68. Google has 187.5 as the strike. I'm looking over here so I can get to the option chain. It has 187.5 as a 78% probability out of the money. Let's see what kind of supports and resistances we have. We got a couple of them right here in the 186 and some change area. Let's go look and see what's further back. Do we have anything further back? Google is like Amazon and those other dudes. It's running back to its all-time highs. I don't know if we've got any prices back here. Nope, it don't look like it. It don't look like it. Yeah, I definitely would do put credit spread. If you wanted to do a call credit spread, I'd go with um, a Fibonacci extension if you really were into that. Otherwise, go with a put credit spread. Put credit spread, I've got 185, 187.5 based on the probability out of the money and based on the charting. What it will do up here will be interesting to see because it has hit the top of a resistance. So in the pre-market, it has even pulled back a little bit. So you want that doesn't mean it can't go up. We already know that these mugs can keep right on moving through the zone. They can keep right on going. Okay. Like nothing's out there stopping them. Let's look at Tyson Foods. Did I do Tyson? Yes, I did. Tyson Foods is on the call credit spread list, and maybe rightfully so, even though it's looking kind of like what we just saw. Let's see if we can put this gap on. Whatever you all learned with Jamie over the weekend, make sure to incorporate those skills into your trading. Right. I find sometimes I'll go to a class and be like, oh yeah, and be all dialed in and engaged. And I leave the class and forget what I learned in the class. Like it come time to use it and I'm like, huh? What? So this area did have a long wick. So it could long wick from back here. I'm on the daily, back here on June the 21st. So this area could turn here, but you listen, trade what you see. It's pre-market. We're at $56 in the pre-market. I do see some support down in here. This is in the $55 range. That's Tyson Foods. Go with um the watch list shows it as bearish. So you want to trade with what you see. If you decide you want to do a put credit spread, later in the week, then that's of course your prerogative. 56.57, even though here it says 57 is like a 78% probability out of the money. Call credit spread 57.58 or 58.59. Really, it's going to be whichever one you're most comfortable with. Okay, that's really what's going to matter there. All right, let's see if I had some comments or something we wanted to make sure we incorporated. Had to start writing stuff down. Absolutely. Question: should Peakbot send actual emails as an update? They do. What Peakbot has been doing is they around 12 they will send you an email saying this is where you can find the alerts. So what I've been doing with the Peakbot alerts is around 11:45 ish. I have a alarm on my phone that says basically to look at the watch list, to go look at it. And around that time is when I do it. So just do it that way. The alert it's updating all day. So whenever you're free to go look at it, that's when you can. So they're sending an email that says basically the alerts are alerting. And if you want to see, go ahead and see. That's what the email says. Or I was supposed to say, that's what I was told it would say. Basically, go look at the alert. Call credit spread. The top of this gap or the bottom of this gap is also going to provide some support, some resistance. Sorry, it's going to also provide some resistance, which is at 56.60. That should provide some resistance as well. Okay. That was Tyson. I did Tyson, Google, Exxon. Oh, I didn't look at EMPH. EMPH. EMPH seems to be trying to come back out of the danger zone. I need to turn that candle off so I can see if that's a red candle or not. I think it is. So I can see if that candle, yes, that last candle here is actually a red candle, but it is coming or trying to come back out of the support. Then it gapped up and came back down. But support is at 95.81. It's currently at 98.61. So EMPH, I would definitely, let me go find it because I would make sure that I'm using the plus minus numbers on EMPH if you're going to trade that. Okay, EMPH, the plus minus that implied volatility numbers up at the top right. I definitely would look to utilize those to make sure you get strikes outside of those numbers. Okay, EMPH will most likely show up on the trend spread alerts as well today too, so you can look at those strikes. I see six plus or minus 6.3, plus or minus 6.3. So if you were going from current price and subtracting 6.3, you'd be down at like 92, 92, 93. I would look at that. I definitely would go with something below that plus minus number. Now you may not need to go way as far below it as that, but yeah, 92 has a safe 76% probability out of the money. Listen, don't fool up with as with in phase looking for good money. The premiums are good, but if you get to yourself too close going after the premiums, you may find yourself in the hot seat. 91.92 market is closed, but it's showing $16 right now. So, but look at it when the market opens, okay? And if you wanted to look on the call credit spread side, I don't know if I would too early, but I'm always looking at what could be a possible iron condor. I see 104. We'd probably go up that whole six I told you about. We'd go up six from the 98, which puts you at 104. 104, 105. Yep, 104 or 105. CCS 104, 105. If you wanted to get on the call credit spread side, I would not do that until I saw it hit some resistance and reject. And resistance is currently at 105.27. So I would either do 104, 105 or 105, 106. That way you're fully beyond that resistance area. Okay. What else we got? No more sizzling bacon. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. I've covered the stocks I was going to look at. And make sure I covered everything inside of our graphic. Let me lean in. Maybe I get a little more light. Just One July is still going on. If you want to get in on the Peakbot alerts, they're at alerts.usepeakbot.com. Get the alerts. You actually you can get 2 weeks. You can get 2 weeks free alerts if you're, not sure how you're going to be able to use them. Free to, oh no, I need a 2 there, not an at. Free to for 2 weeks of free alerts. If you're not sure how you're going to use them, get your 2 weeks free, give them a trial run or whatever each day or however you want to do it, and then see if you want to pay the $5 a week for them. Use them in your sim. You don't have to jump into live unless you want to. You all, the people who are trading credit spreads, you all are pretty knowledgeable traders. The alerts are good for if you're not signed up for the automated trading, or if you're on like Robinhood and you can't connect that and you can't connect to Peakbot for automated trading, use the alerts and still get the benefit of the algorithm working on your behalf. It won't be hands free, but you'll still get the use of the alerts. You'll still get to get trades suggestions with good premiums, good trade suggestions, strike suggestions, and good premiums. I got to go check out why that is not sending out the cheat sheet, the little checklist. The E2T membership is wide open. We have morning calls every day at 8:30, weekly training calls on Thursdays. We're still in the midst of working on charting. This week, I believe we're doing indicators, volume, and stuff like that is going to be this week. And then we have our monthly coaching calls on first Saturday, which we did this past Saturday. And we're going to do Cash Flow 101 this coming week. That's not a membership thing only. Anybody can come to that. But of course, it's the people in the membership who kind of hang out. And we have a Telegram. You're hanging out with me. We're doing all the things together. I say all the things. We just are a great community, to be honest. And it's $97 a month. All right. Our trader's declaration. If there's something else, go ahead and put in the chat so I can see what you're going to say before I wrap up the call. I want to be closed before the market gets open. E2T trader's declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts grow more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war and our fingers to fight. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically in order to fulfill this purpose. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen. I really hope everybody had a good, enjoyable holiday weekend. I was out of town, as you all know. I traveled for my husband's uncle's funeral. I was traveling. We went to Ohio and spent a few days up there. I did fly on Breeze Airways, and I will have to say I was okay with Breeze. I'm okay with Breeze. Breeze was okay with me. I don't know if people have flown it before, but it was not a problem. It was, and this might have been just this flight. It was no issues. It was straight through from Jacksonville to Columbus and back. That worked for me. Worked for me, and the price was reasonable and we had a good time. But I did find out too that flying, I've seen some places, you all might have heard this too, that high altitude seem to give you clarity of thought. And I really found that I was able to get some plans, some things laid out, plans I could clearly think and put together a process for myself without all the things that cloud my mind. I felt like that was it was very useful that the high altitude helped to clear up the mind. Whether it was that or not, I don't really know, but I did get some plans established for the rest of this year. Yeah, thank you, Ward. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. All righty. You never heard of Breeze? Yeah, Breeze is it's a lower cost airline. It flies from Jacksonville. It goes lots of places. Breeze Airways. It was nice. I didn't have any complaints. I had no complaints. All right, everybody. I want you all to have a really good, profitable trading day. All right. If we've got questions about anything that we've got, the alerts, the automation, the trade ideas, how do we enter, how do we exit, all the things, any of those things, please be sure to reach out. You can inbox me. You can send me an email. I'm going to check on that charting checklist, see why that's not being sent out automatically. All righty. We're going to stay green today and we're going to stay green. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a great green day and we're going to get this money. Thank you. We're going to stay green and we're going to get this money. All right. I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Bye. Goodbye. Bye, everybody.